Hi students, I am Kashish and in this lecture we'll discuss the questions that are given in the chapter number 2, the cherry tree. So I hope the story is clear to you all and you all went through the text and read the story. So see students, it won't be possible for me to go line by line as we don't have much time and it won't be possible for me to cover every line, but I covered all the important aspects that you need to understand in my previous two lectures, and I made sure that you all get all the important points and all the important aspects of the story and what actually the author wants to convey to its reader. So I once again request you to go line by line and read the story. So there are few details that are not at all, that are not much important for you, but still it will help you to understand the story in a better way, as there are few descriptions of the birds and other few descriptions that is not more important for you when you look for the moral of the story, but it is just present in the story, so you should be aware about that. So in this lecture we'll discuss the question answers, and let's start with the in-text question first. So the in-text question is first in-text question. You'll find it on page number 31, and the question is, where did Rakesh live? So Rakesh lived with his, you can see the answer, Rakesh lived with his grandfather. Can get a pointer? Okay. So Rakesh lived with his grandfather in the outskirts of Missouri, just where the forest began. So this is the first answer of your in-text question. Next is, what did grandfather tell Rakesh to do with the cherry seed? So when Rakesh got the cherries from the market, and when he was supposed to finish the cherry, and when he had the last cherry, so he felt that the seed was lucky for him and he was supposed to keep that. He was willing to keep the cherry seed, but his grandfather advised him something else. So what did his grandfather tell him? So grandfather asked Rakesh to plant cherry seeds. So this is the answer. When you turn the page, on page number 32, you will see again a box of in-text question, and the question is, how did Rakesh and grandfather know that it was springtime? So Rakesh and grandfather knew it was springtime when the wild duck flew north. So see students, these are few instances that are present in the story, and when you read it you will get. So whenever the springtime used to come, they used to see that the wild duck flew in the northern direction. So this was a sign that the spring is coming, and it's a springtime. So whenever they noticed wild duck flying towards north, so they understood that it's springtime. Now, where did the wild duck fly in spring? So the wild duck flew to Siberia in spring. Then the next question is on page number 33, and the question is, where did Rakesh go during the monsoons? What did he do there? So Rakesh went home to his village during the monsoons. He went there to help his grandfather and mother with the planting and plugging and sowing. So we saw that when it was monsoon season, grandfather and Rakesh both left to visit Rakesh's parents, and we saw that how helpful Rakesh was to them as well, and he helped them in their work. So this is the answer. Next is, what does the word intention mean? Now here you are supposed to give the meaning of the word intention. So the word intention means that one aims or plans to do. So whatever one aims or plans to do is, you can call it as an intention. See, sometimes we hurt someone, but it's not so, and it's not our intention to do, it was not our intention to do so, and when we realize that the person got hurt just because of us, So we say that, sorry, but it was not my intention to hurt you. So intention is, you can basically say that is a plan or an aim that a person wants to do. So next in-text question: which two visitors did Rakesh find on the cherry tree? So Rakesh first of all found a insect, and then he later on noticed caterpillar. So here you are supposed to give give this two reference in the answer. So Rakesh found bright green praying mantis. I already told you what do you mean by praying mantis. So praying mantis is a small green insect with long front legs and big eyes. So he noticed a big green praying mantis, and then later on a hairy caterpillar on the cherry tree. So this green mantis and hairy caterpillar were actually the visitors that Rakesh found. Then the next in-text question is, what did he do with them? So when he noticed, what did he do with them? So Rakesh let the praying mantis, which was the first visitor to the cherry tree, remain on the branch. So when he noticed the insect, first he thought of taking the insect and putting it in a safe place. But then he realized that it must be the first visitor, and it must be a friend of the cherry tree. So he did not move the mantis, and he let it remain there only. So the answer is Rakesh let the praying mantis, which was the first visitor to the cherry tree, remain on the branch. But he removed the caterpillar who was eating the leaves and dropped it on a heap of dry leaves. So when he noticed caterpillar was eating the leaves of the tree, so Rakesh didn't like this, and so he gently took up the caterpillar and placed it on a heap of dry leaves that were lying in the garden. The next question: what made grandfather unhappy in winter? So we saw that when the winter season came, the cherry tree was also full of snow, and the streets were blocked with, as there was a heavy snowfall, and there were no newspaper for days, and which made Rakesh and grandfather very sad, and they felt very grumpy and sad being at home, and there was no newspaper, and they were not able to move out as well. So the answer is, the road from the valley was blocked during the winter. For several days there was no newspaper, and this made grandfather quite grumpy. Means grandfather felt very irritating, as he had no other means of entertainment, and newspaper was only the thing through which he used to pass his time by reading it and getting the news from all over the world. And the streets were also blocked, the valleys were blocked because of the snowfall, so he was not able to go out as well. So all this made grandfather feel very grumpy. Next is, what effect did this have on his story? So on his story here basically means that it was a routine that grandfather narrates the story to Rakesh, and the story used to end very well and happily. But as there was no newspaper, as the streets were blocked, the valleys were blocked, and grandfather was not able to move out, he felt very grumpy. So whenever he narrated the story during this time, all the story ended had a very sad ending, and none of the story ended in a very happy manner or an happy end. None of the story had a happy end. So this shows that the grandfather was not in a good mood, and which affected this affected on the story which he narrated to Rakesh. So the answer is, his story began to have unhappy endings. Next is on page number 34. What does the word nectar mean? So the word nectar means that a sweet liquid that is produced by flowers and collected by the bees for making honey. So nectar is actually a sweet liquid that is produced by the flowers, and we can see that birds, and especially bees, come near the flowers and pluck that nectar, and they, by collecting that, they make honey. So nectar is actually a sweet liquid that is used for making honey and is collected by the bees. What does the word blossoms mean? So the word blossom means a flower or a mass of flowers, especially on a fruit tree or bush. So blossoms actually means when the tree started bearing, before bearing fruits, tree first make flowers. So blossoms is a sign, and when the flowers start appearing on any of the fruit tree or bush, and so it means that it's blossoming, and now in few days and months it will bear a fruit, and that flower will turn into a fruit. So blossoms means a flower or a mass of flower. Mass of flower means many flowers together. So this way here we come to an end of our in-text question, and let's start with our making connections, that is on page number 35. So the first is quick answers. Write the names of the insects, birds and animals which come to the cherry tree. So this is when you read the text, you will get to know the names of the birds that are mentioned in the text. So you can write it. I have mentioned the answer here as well, but you can write it and by reading the text. Next is reference to the context, that is on page number 36, and the first one is nothing is lucky if you put it away. If you want luck, you must put it to some use. Now who said this and to whom? So you'll come to know who said this and to whom when you'll read the story. And the answer is, this was actually said by grandfather to Rakesh. So the answer is, grandfather said this to Rakesh. What was the speaker referring to? Now speaker here is obviously grandfather. So what he is referring to? So Rakesh's grandfather was referring to the cherry seed that Rakesh had with him. So when Rakesh was planning to keep the seeds with him as considering it as lucky. So during that time, at that time, Rakesh's grandfather said the sentence to him that nothing is lucky if you put it away. If you want luck, you must put it to some use. If you want cherry seeds to bring some luck, so you must use this seed. And how he can use that seed? By sowing it and making it turn into a plant. So Rakesh's grandfather was referring to the cherry seed that Rakesh had with him. How did the person being spoken to put it to some use? So what do you mean by it? So Rakesh put the seed to some use by planting it in the ground. So how did put it to some use? Actually, what did the grandfather want to tell by telling this, put it to some use? So this was actually was to make Rakesh plant that seed in the ground. So the answer is, Rakesh put the seed to some use by planting it in the ground. So how did he use the seeds? He used the seeds by planting it into the ground. Then next, third one. Come back when you are a butterfly, he said. Now who said this and to whom? Again, this statement, as Rakesh said this statement to caterpillar when he noticed the caterpillar on the tree as he was eating a leaf. So Rakesh said this statement to a caterpillar. So the answer is, Rakesh said this to a hairy caterpillar. Why did the speaker not want the creature to stay? So speaker here is basically Rakesh. And why didn't Rakesh want the caterpillar to stay there? So Rakesh did not want the caterpillar to stay because it was feasting on the cherry tree's leaves. So Rakesh didn't want the caterpillar to stay as the caterpillar was eating the leaves of the cherry tree. So Rakesh didn't like that, and so he gently said the caterpillar, come back when you are a butterfly, and he picked the caterpillar and placed it on a dry heap of leaves that was lying there. What does this line tell you about the speaker? So what does this tell you about the speaker? Speaker of this line is Rakesh. So this line tells us that Rakesh was a kind boy. Though the caterpillar was feasting on the cherry tree's leaves, he didn't want to harm it. So this shows that Rakesh was indeed a very kind boy. We saw through several we saw in the story. He was a kind boy. He helped his grandfather. He even helped his parents, and he took a great care of cherry tree as well. He watered it. So this shows that he was a very kind and obedient boy. But see students, when you see any kind of an insect or anything, you first go and try to kill it and try to make fun of it and try to play of that, try to play with that insect or any of the thing that you notice. That those are the small creatures, student, and they won't hurt us. And we humans always try to kick them or crush them and kill them. So Rakesh was not like that, and when he saw the caterpillar, he didn't try to hurt the caterpillar, he didn't try to harm the caterpillar, though the caterpillar was eating the leaves of the cherry tree, which was very dear to Rakesh. But he didn't harm the caterpillar, and he gently said the caterpillar, please go and come back when you are turned into a butterfly. And then he took the caterpillar and placed it on a very kindly, he took up the caterpillar and placed it on a heap of dry leaves that were lying. So this shows that he was a very kind-hearted boy. The next one, he could see the mountains striding away into the clouds. Now who is referred to as he in this line? Now this line, when you'll come to read the story, you will see that this line is actually when Rakesh lays under the his cherry tree in the shade, and this line he comes there. So he is referred as he in this in line. So he is actually used for Rakesh. So the answer is Rakesh is referred to as he in this line. Now B1. From where could he see the mountain? So from where could he see the mountain? So Rakesh could see the mountain from where he lay under the cherry tree. So when he used to lay under the cherry tree, he used to he was able to see the mountain and the other ranges of the mountains that were near their home. So the answer is Rakesh could see the mountain from where he lay under the cherry tree. Now what does the expression striding away into the clouds mean? So this line, what does this mean? So what does this mean? So the expression striding away into the cloud means that the range of the mountains extending a great distance up to the horizon, where they were covered by clouds. It appeared as if the mountains ended in the clouds. So when he used to lay under the cherry tree, and when he used to lift his head and see, he was able to see a ranges of the mountains, and as if the mountains were so high, and it appeared as the mountains ended in the clouds. So when he used to lay under the cherry tree, he was able to see the clouds and the mountains, and it seems like the mountains ends in the cloud, and he was not able to see any end of the mountain and the cloud. So here we come to an end, and in our next lecture we will discuss read, reflect and write. So till then you can take the screenshots and write the question answers in your notebook and try to learn it and go through it. And I'm once again telling you, students, read the story and read the story. I really hope and I know that you must have understood the story, but unless and until you don't read it, you will not get many you will not get it completely. So there are few points which you will get only by reading the story. So I once again request you to read the story and then begin with question answer. Okay, so go through this, whatever is given in this lecture, go through this, try to note it down in your notebook and learn it and read the story. And that's it for today. In next lecture we'll continue with read, reflect and write. Till then, take a very good care of yourself and study. Bye.